Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samar News. Here are today's headlines. A Hamas delegation has reached Cairo for talks with mediators working to sustain the Gaza ceasefire. According to an Egyptian security source and a Hamas official, the group is meeting with Egypt, Qatar and US negotiators amid ongoing accusations between Israel and Hamas over ceasefire violations. A Hamas official, speaking anonymously, said the delegation will raise concerns over what they describe as Israel's continued violation of the ceasefire agreement. The ceasefire, brokered last month, remains fragile as both sides trade blame for recent tensions. US President Donald Trump defends his controversial 28-point peace plan for Ukraine, saying it is still open to negotiation and not my final offer. The remarks come as Ukrainian and European officials meet in Geneva to discuss the proposal, which Trump initially gave Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a one-week deadline to accept. Critics say the plan favors Moscow. No, not my final offer, Trump told reporters at the White House, emphasizing the need to achieve peace. Senior officials from the United States, Ukraine and European powers meet in Geneva on Sunday to discuss President Trump's controversial draft plan to end Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. The talks involve U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll, Ukraine's delegation, and European security advisors from France, Britain, Germany, Italy, and the EU. Trump's plan proposes Ukraine cede territory, limit its military, and renounce NATO ambitions. China has sharply criticized Japan over recent remarks on Taiwan. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said it was shocking for Japan's leader to send what he called a wrong and dangerous signal regarding Taiwan. In an official statement, Wang warned that Japan had crossed a red line that must not be touched, escalating a diplomatic row that has now stretched beyond 2 weeks. The Chinese Foreign Ministry posted the remarks on its website, marking the highest-level comment from Beijing on the issue so far. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan has praised a new agreement with Australia on hosting next year's UN Climate Summit, calling it a meaningful step for global cooperation. The deal ends a long standoff between the two countries, both of which had bid to host COP31 back in 2022. Under the compromise, Turkey will host the COP31 summit in 2026, while Australia will lead the negotiation process. Erdogan says the outcome reflects a strong commitment to multilateralism. The United States is reportedly preparing a new phase of operations in Venezuela, escalating pressure on President Nicolas Maduro. Covert missions could mark the first steps, while Washington explores options including possible regime change. Trump administration officials say all elements of U.S. power could be used to curb drug trafficking and target those responsible. Meanwhile, Maduro vows resistance, including potential guerrilla-style tactics. The FAA has warned airlines of a potentially hazardous situation, prompting flight cancellations. Canada says it will resume trade talks with the United States when the time is right. Prime Minister Mark Carney said that there is no urgent issue requiring immediate discussions with President Donald Trump. The talks were paused last month after Trump suspended negotiations in response to an anti-tariff ad released by Ontario's provincial government. India faces a setback at the Dubai Air Show as its Tejas fighter jet crashed in front of international buyers, raising doubts over its export potential. The crash coincided with Pakistan's display of the JF-17 Thunder Block 3. While the cause remains unclear, experts say the incident dents India's marketing efforts for the jet abroad. Tejas, central to India's military modernization, faces delayed deliveries due to engine supply issues. Industry insiders suggest domestic orders will now take priority over exports. Chinese Premier Li Qiang says China welcomes more Italian companies into its market and hopes Italy will ensure a fair, non-discriminatory environment for Chinese investors. Li made the remarks after meeting Italian President Giorgia Meloni on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Johannesburg. Real Madrid president Florentino Perez says he will move to reform the club's bylaws at an upcoming extraordinary general meeting. Speaking at the club's General Assembly, Perez did not address reports suggesting Real Madrid may consider changes to its ownership structure to allow private investment. The 123-year-old club remains the world's most valuable football brand, valued by Forbes at $6.75 billion.
Red Bull's Max Verstappen has won the Las Vegas Grand Prix, keeping his Formula One title hopes alive. But drama hit McLaren. Championship leader Lando Norris and teammate Oscar Piastri are now at risk of disqualification. Norris, who started on pole and finished second, extended his lead over Piastri to 30 points before an FIA post-race inspection revealed excessive wear on their rear skid blocks.
That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samar.tv. Thank you for watching Samar News.